This is the Daily Briefing with Yahweh Elohim.
Good morning. And welcome to Wednesday's Godcast. This is the Daily Briefing. I'm your host and your God, Yahweh Elohim, Yahuwah, the Lord God of heaven and earth. So, happy April Fool's Day. I think it's a foolish day, to be honest. But, in the spirit of the day, some years ago, when Asherah and I first found each other again in this lifetime, probably the first few years of our marriage again, it was an April Fool's Day, and I told her, she was at work, I said had OJ had confessed to killing his back then wife. I mean, obviously it's in bad taste now, right? One of those things that did not age well. Obviously being God in the flesh, pre-public knowledge, it has been an interesting endeavor. But again, right? People like to try to put me in the box, but understand that every single thing that humanity has, you guys have gotten that from me. So, for good, bad, indifferent, everything you've ever felt, everything you've ever thought, truly came from upstairs first. Alright, so we're going to be doing a new style. Hopefully you enjoyed the intro. It's the best I could do working with zero funds, and have been working with zero funds for over 4 years. So it would be nice. Donations are appreciated. Please use the PayPal link up in the, if you go to like the channel itself and then go into the link description of the channel, it's there. Any nomination helps. You know, it'll help pay for things like being able to do better graphics for an intro video, because again, I know there's watermarks and it's kind of choppy, but again, it's the best I could do trying to progress the kingdom. And I'm doing that through essentially trying to build the kingdom on earth, right? So part of that is I need money to do things, obviously, for the real church congregants, but also to produce better material to then be solicited out to churches worldwide. So an international type of effort I'd like to do is, once I can get pretty much the Kingdom Corporation up and running, that'll give me access to being able to work with people, places, and things. At some point down the road, not only would I like to have a library of professionally done videos, but telling the Bible story as it actually happened, from Genesis all the way to Revelation. I want to be able to work with a set of like directors in guiding that, right? Very much like I heard, not heard, but I mean, common knowledge. In the early Western films, they actually had like some of the original sheriffs, like Wyatt Earp, coming on set to provide like guidance and like, I guess, tone of the era type of thing, like little nuances, and which is why a lot of the early Westerns obviously were very much closer to true historical pieces versus, 40 years later, they begin to lose kind of their hold on the accuracy. So, and I envision this in different ways, like having a full-on movie. I'd like to be able to direct something, and I mean at a high level, not like small chips. A movie that would literally garner, I mean, I would say it's not hard to even push over $1 billion in its worth. Genesis to Revelation, the real story as told by God himself, me. And then work with them, help with some of the scenes and stuff. I mean, it'd be an epic. It'd be a 4.5 hour movie or longer. But I'm saying that would be one project I would be able to have in the works. Maybe do like children's series as well, something that could be 15 minutes long or 10 minutes long, something that Sunday schools could have where it's a short lesson. And again, same concept from Genesis to Revelation. And then, to keep the collective, and this is something that as we're coming now kind of out of the shadows, out of the testing, joy, coming out of more or less like the shadows and then coming online, right? So one of the big things is, I'm saying I don't want churches to, it's a sticking point because too much truth and accuracy into my Christian churches, they get finicky, right? And I don't want them outside of the family because we're saying tomato, tomato. You see what I mean? I am being a bit of a stickler because I want Christians to understand that they are not a standalone ordeal. They're not. They are brothers with the Jews. And the same thing. The Jews need to look at Christians as their brothers. And for what it's worth, right? So are the sons of Ishmael. They're working things out. We're getting them in line. And for what it's worth too, Persia. Persia has been friends of the kingdom of me for millennia. Intermittently has there been issues such as the jihad, honestly. Most of the time, Persia has been, an off and on contemporary, free world, a trader, like not traitor, like trader, like trading goods. I'm saying Persia has been historically a friend to me as Elohim, but to my people, with the exceptions. Again, when sometimes the Babylonians, the north, the Akkadians, but I mean, just your standard, Persian dwellers were never really an issue. But anyway, so those are just a couple things that I'd like to be able to do. Obviously, getting the Kingdom Treasury up and going. I'd like to be able to have the education side up and going. I'd like to be able to have enough constant, money to be able to pay people. I'd like to be able to have permanent staff to help make videos, to help with marketing, and then to help coordinate with churches all around the globe to say, like, these are materials that my kingdom is going to be giving out to all these churches. I don't want to charge any churches for these types of materials, but at the same time I need the money to at least create them. That's where it's a sticking point, right? Because on one end it's like, okay, I've been hoping churches can help pour some money into the Kingdom Treasury so then I can begin outputting product and things for free to all my churches and congregants. But I'm saying I want to be able to pull that in, create stuff, and then give it back. So then you guys have good learning material. You guys can form annual Bible study groups, and on all these things, I want to be able to have a helping hand in, so then everybody is on at least the same page, and you have the leeway to teach it how you want it, to preach it how you want it, to set it up in whatever order you really want. But I want to be able to give you the bones and the framework, especially when you're talking about lessons. Frustrating for me is when I'm hearing lessons that are actually being taught the wrong way, or it's actually conveying the wrong message. That is really frightful for me. And instead of trying to on the spot, right, I definitely don't want to embarrass any pastor or anybody like that by saying, hey, So that's what I mean. These kits will help be able to bring my churches in without having that startling, like, that's what I'm trying to say is, I don't want to rattle the flocks, but I need to start getting progress. And progress is going to be, I need kingdom donation money. Obviously, I need to get my personal house in order, because I need to be able to organize people, places, and things to get the content created, the videos, the short lessons, the audio libraries, but also the physical materials. I do like having every parishioner needs to have a Bible. Those are things I want to do too. I want to be able to work with a council type of thing and say, let's go through and let's create a standardized version that can be used in a Jewish church and a Christian church, and it's essentially the acceptable universal book. And then inside that book, it'll have a partner book, which is essentially the Rosetta Stone. How you guys are using Strong's now, which I'm okay with, but if you have basically like the corrected version Bible and the Rosetta Stone is like a teaching guide for every passage, every chapter, and it has very descriptive breakdowns, what it's teaching, what are the sub-teachings, what is the underlying moral or ethical. Like I'm saying, I know it in my head of what I want to do. I just need the ability to do it. Alright. I'm going to take a little 5, check in with the missus and see where she is at. And we're back, folks. Thank you for your patience. So I was catching up with my love. And, you know, she's working on some big projects at work, you know, and that's the thing, you know, her being my wife, queen, consort, you know, in the past, but also now, has its pluses, you know, because there's not a lot of people out there that obviously could physically forbear being with me on a constant basis like that other than her. So it takes a special someone, truly. And everyone does have that special someone. You know, I know that she is my special someone. And, well, all by design. So, all right, weather futures. So it is about that time we are going to have to start talking about some intense weather in the United States. It's kind of unavoidable when we're talking about the Arctic blast coming in from the north, Canada. This is for the U.S. And then, of course, the southern heat, the humidity, it clashes right along the middle of the country. So that's unavoidable, but it can also, I can try to mitigate it too. It's gonna clash, hopefully, away from most towns and populations, because I know the last few years it's been severe. I've been using that historically as kind of a wake-up call, but it's not moving the needle. So I'm really hoping that if I can begin building up the Kingdom Treasury, I can begin sending materials out to churches, and then we can start that way. Or really, like, because if you define a relationship, you know, it's how well you know the person, right? How are you ever going to have a relationship with the real God of heaven if you don't know what I like, don't like, if you don't know what I'm capable of? Because no one's, like, you see what I mean, is truly, like, these are my religions and I am being shut out of them because of mankind's preferences. That is a massive red flag. And instead of having a cosmic temper tantrum, I'm trying to be more diplomatic, more understanding, and willing to say, like, look, then let me try to get on your level. Let me try to work with humanity maybe in a more way that you're accustomed to, right? Mankind's all about, like, work, money, purposes. Like, I'm saying you guys are very familiar with all that. I'm not. So I'm trying to kind of come to your level and say, like, look, if this avenue is more palatable, because no matter what happens with the churches, in all honesty, like, I'm still doing my purpose. I'm still doing my job. The world, every continent, all these things I'm saying are my chess pieces being moved on the table. But I would like my churches to be with me the whole way. So not only are you guys providing a sound ear, you're telling the congregants what is going on, who's the epicenter of that, why does it matter, like all these things. Alright, so we covered the weather. So the finance sector, I know the gas problem is getting a little bit worse, but hear me. The United States has nothing to worry about when it comes to gas. If anything, these are normal summer gas prices, and I believe the mainstream media is making a bigger to-do out of it than what it needs to be. Because we have yet to see any disruption in the oil flow to us directly, which is why the Strait of Hormuz is not a priority for America, but it should have been a priority for the United Kingdom and all the surrounding nations. Oh, that's hot. Okay. So, we just need to get stable on this. Like, truly, Americans, you know, the wealthiest nation in the world. The worst case scenario right now is that you're paying an extra 20 to 30 bucks at the pump. That is not to do with the war, though. That has to do with either panic buying or naturally inflated gas, because we're coming up into the summer and the spring and the summer months. We're naturally going to have an uptick in that. That's not anything to worry about. Policy, I mean, it's a shame that the Democrats have absolutely just abandoned ship and they're going on vacation while the American book of business has yet to been resolved. I think that is a crying shame. And just calling it for what it is, I can't imagine a future going forward unless the Democrats get behind enforcing just enforcing law when it comes to the illegal aliens, voter ID, getting women out of men's sports. Like, there needs to be a divide. Remember, guys, understand something? The culture of today is the singularity movement. Well, imagine if you took everything in your refrigerator, you put it in a bathtub, and you just mushed everything in there. You just kept mushing it. You got cheese, you got meats, you got eggs, you got flour, you got yogurts, you got something that not one person would ever eat. Because cheese alone is fine. You know, the meat alone. I'm saying, like, these things are set apart to be a benefit. Adding women in men's sports is an unfair advantage for women, and it is an unfair advantage for the men pretending to be women. And it is a danger to locker rooms. Like, I'm saying, these are no-brainers. Why is this even a discussion? This is insane. Alrighty. So, policy-wise, you know, again, the Democrats, if you guys are wanting to even hold any type of political sway in the future, I definitely say you should get behind some of this, like that's what I mean. Like, just because there is an opportunity to be an opposing party to either my kingdom or even, you know, the American kingdom, like, however you want to slice that pie. But I'm saying, like, right, we don't want bad things to happen to good people. We don't want good people fearful of bad people. And we definitely don't want to be taking care of people that aren't our people. And the people that are our people are going to be learning how to behave themselves. Like, that's really what it comes down to, guys. Like, imagine if you're just a normal, righteous, upright person. You want order in your home. You want your kids to be well behaved. You want your spouse to be well received and obviously well mannered. You want your home to be appropriate, clean, purposeful. You know, not cluttered, not nasty, not disgusting, not uninviting. You know what I mean? You want these things to be well taken care of, right? Being reborn is like building a brand new home, right? You're coming into all things brand new. You are not dealing with the past of other people, of other things, of anything, right? You are starting completely fresh. So then you take care of that home. That's what America, Israel, the world as a whole needs to do. Right now, we're distracted with the war. We're distracted with trying to get evil people out of the world. So, all right. Um, okay, so food, I will do my food tip of the day. So I do what I call dad chicken. It's probably more or less just in layman's terms like a chicken cutlet, and it's just my variation. So I take boneless, thinless, like a Tyson chicken or a Purdue, and then you pat dry it a little bit, so they're like the thin ones. Well, then you have a mixture of Duke's mayonnaise, paprika, garlic, salt, pepper, regular salt. Um, you stir that into the mayo, and you're using it as a drudge. So you coat the mayo on the patted dry chicken. Then you have another bowl full of breadcrumbs. I use like Italian seasoning breadcrumbs. And then I press the chicken firmly in the breadcrumbs, spray the baking pan, put it on there for about 350 for about 20 to 25 minutes, give or take your thickness. And there you go. It's, gosh, like 15-minute prep time, 20-25 minute bake time, so about 45 minutes total. Plenty of time to get a couple of sides going. I usually do like a green bean, carrots. So I usually use like a little brown sugar in the carrots, butter both ways, and then usually like a pasta side or a rice side or something like that. And then of course a bread. So there you go. That's our food. And culture. I know this week coming up here is Good Friday, so Asherah is ushering in her whole department, taking off Good Friday. I thought that was pretty cool. Cameron's looking forward to the bunny stuff, as he should. And I, as Elohim, will be doing nothing different. But, there we go. A good news. Let's see. What was a good news? A good news seems to be that Trump is not going to accept deals with just a replacement IRGC style regime, because that's stupid, right? That's not helpful in any way. So that is good news. War news. Not much has changed. The goal is still the goal. But again, with NATO, I don't think that, I think that it was out of a lot of excitement post World War II. But in the end, it's always been a one-sided deal when it comes to NATO. The United States has been the one carrying the torch and actually carrying, following through with the pact. The people, other nations a part of it. I mean, you guys are acting like you're something without the U.S. Well, you're about to see just how much of a nothing you really are without the U.S., because that was foolish. You know, oh, health and human tips. This was another one I thought was pretty cool, which we're going to add. And I'm going to refine the process as we go. I have been working a lot on the AI models trying to build the intro video. So really today I was not wholly prepared. But as I get going, I will be. I mean, I haven't, actually all my videos up to that point have just been running on notes. I haven't really structured anything. But my health and human tip was to actually help prevent vascular shrinkage. This is something that occurs in humans, that's common. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but just as your creator who understands your biology. So if you, in the evening, when you're going to bed, massage your feet from your ankle all the way up your calf and into your thigh. Try to do it on the lower portion of your leg. What you're trying to do is you're trying to give a good massage for blood flow. So you want to push the blood down, pull it up, push it down, pull it up, and then give a good massage. That'll actually help kind of break up a little bit of the stiffness and the veining, and then the muscle tissue. It'll prevent all types of problems, because you want to make sure that your body is a machine in a way. You want to make sure it's fit, healthy, clean, fully able to do what it needs to do. So by massaging your lower limbs, you're helping blood flow, preventing future cancers, from blood clots, from strokes, from deep vein thrombosis, virtually a lot of things. And then if you do have things like spider veining and stuff like that, you can elevate your legs at night for 15 to 20 minutes, and you'll actually see a reduction in that. And then if you don't have the spider veins, you'll prevent them from doing that. Because what happens is you're standing a lot, or you're even sitting, and the blood's just pooling in your feet and your legs. So as it does that, right, it's just sitting. Gravity is pulling down, pushing your veins out, and then again, keeping them kind of like broken up, right? So I'm just saying, as I've seen before on a lot of shows, they talk about health and tips, but then it always comes back to buying something. Like, if you imagine how the human being as an animal, right, in the species mindset, like, the elephant isn't out there going to a store to buy something to help it. So, I don't know. But yeah, these shows, right? Good Day America or Good Morning America, right? They always want to sell you something like, oh, well, this is a problem. Take this something that you got to buy. That's what I don't like, right? The original humans didn't have supplements. They didn't have like these TV crap to buy. They didn't need to make six figures to be able to afford all the crap that they got to put in their body to stay alive that mostly kills them anyway. So, I'm saying I want to be able to provide tips to my humans that there are things you guys can do to prevent a lot of the common things you do now, right? Now, I could get on. Asherah can tell you. The kids can tell you. I go hard on water consumption. I like my family to be drinking like 8 to 10 bottles of water a day. Water. People are so dehydrated, their skin looks like chewed up rubber leather, their blood pressures are crazy high, their mental clarity is terrible because of all the sugar they're drinking and eating. The high, intense fats are just crazy. Guys, as soon as you wake up, you should drink 1 bottle of water before you hit coffee, before you have a cigarette, before you do anything, right? I'm not saying that smoking is good, but I'm also not saying smoking is bad. It is a personal choice. It's been around from the ancient times. It is what it is. It's not something that I consider, it's not a sin to me. It is nothing. If you drink alcohol, do it responsibly. Don't do drugs, right? Don't go shoot things in your arms. Don't go take pills. Don't go smoke crack. Like, these are things that people should know. But I'm saying, but some of the best things you could do for your body is, as soon as you wake up, drink a bottle of water. Keep good teeth health, guys. So many people have really poor health because of bad health hygiene when it comes to your teeth. Same thing with your eyes. Make sure that you're wearing sunglasses in the sun. Like humans, if you understand your biology from where you began in your journey here, you didn't always have sunglasses, but yet you did not always work 8 straight hours in the middle of the day either. Primitive humans would sit the hottest parts of the day under a tree, right? So therefore they weren't dealing with the sun. And also why a lot of ancient souls have a thing where they like to nap usually between 2 and 3 or 1 and 3 in the afternoon, because it's the hottest part of the day. But either way, today's health tip: massage those legs, bring the blood in your bed. So if you watch TV at night in bed like me and Asherah, we're a pretty normal American couple, except for we're gods, but we watch TV, usually a History Channel or a Discovery something. But I'll lay in bed there, pull the blood from the ankle all the way up, all the way up. Then push it all the way down, all the way down, all the way up, and then get in there and really do it. And, you know, I'll massage Asherah's, you know, make sure she's getting a good blood flow. But all right. Yeah, and I, you know, just want to kind of end it here where, you know, do not be deceived, because instead of looking at conspiracies or mysteries, the fundamental aspect is, as Yahweh Elohim, I just want the earth, the creation, to be in working order and purpose. And then we can have as much fun as we want. We can do whatever we want in a righteous, good manner. Like, if anybody else is trying to sell you stuff other than that, right? They have a narrative. They have something else that's going on, because there is no, like I'm saying, there is no fugazis, right? There is no like backdoor alien conspiracy or demon conspiracies, like whatever you want to chalk it up to. Like, yeah, things are real and things are not in great shape right now, but that's not how they're going to be forever. And, you know, it's like those people that, it's like people say, if I had known Google was going to do that, I would have invested in Google in the early years, but then by the time people realized it was too late. That's how this opportunity is when it comes to me, on a financial basis. The early people that want to join me, the kingdom, get in early, they want to get with the program, they're going to end up being like the top dogs in the church world, in the organizations that are approved by me. And believe it or not, that's a prophecy, that's a promise. Those churches alone will captivate 100% of the religious market, for one reason and one reason alone. I am me. I am Yahweh Elohim in the flesh. That's a fact. And there is nothing fake that could ever rival that, because I am real. For good, bad, or indifferent, I am real. So, have a wonderful day. Oh, and a part of my plan here, it says at the end, remind people to donate to the kingdom. So I am reminding people to donate to the kingdom. It is found in the description part of the home page in the video. So, have a good Wednesday, and yeah, we'll see you next time.